Okay, we're going to do part 5 from I Will Give You Back Your Health Again by Dr. Day. She said, simple sugars destroy your immune system. The sugar destroys the germ-killing ability of white blood cells for up to 5 hours after eating them. This decreases your immune system's ability to remove cancer cells. Persons who eat excess simple sugars are more vulnerable to viral infections like polio. Raw plant foods are the best foods. The next best food is cooked whole plant foods that are organic. Okay, like if you look at Ruth Heydrich, she, cured herself of metastatic cancer eating the McDougall diet. She later did change to preferring primarily a raw diet. She felt it was more convenient. I don't want to go into all the raw versus cooked now. McDougall clearly recommends, cooked starch as 90% of your calories and 5% from fruits and vegetables after that. Of course, you can make it 70%. I eat, more like about 60% starch, about 35% fruits, and then another 5% vegetables. Okay, she says, fruits, vegetables, and grains in their natural form contain virtually no fat and no refined sugars, and they are good for everyone. Dietary simple sugars increase the risk of osteoporosis, causing more calcium excretion into the urine. Dietary simple sugars can cause hyperactivity, anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and crankiness in children. Simple sugars increase blood triglycerides, which are prothrombotic, so that's bad. Excess dietary simple sugars can increase the risk of seizures in persons with epilepsy. Coffee often contains many toxic chemicals. Coffee increases the risk of bladder cancer. I got the page numbers on here if anybody has the book or wants to look them up. Coffee increases the risk of miscarriages and stillbirths. Scientific literature for papers written before 1980 are more reliable. Yeah, that's true. The farther you go back in time, the less corporate influence there was. They're just trying to figure out the truth. Whereas nowadays, the vast majority of so-called scientific literature papers are fake on nutrition and health topics. They're always trying to sell a drug, sell a supplement, sell, whatever food their company makes. Caffeine is mutagenic. That means damages DNA. Caffeine is a diuretic. It also causes a loss of magnesium in the urine, which can increase, of course, hypertension and other problems because that's needed for all your ATP reactions. Caffeine elevates blood cholesterol. It's like the acute stress response. It increases cortisol and catecholamines, mobilizes lipids in the blood for acute stress so you can, fight or flight. Caffeine increases urinary excretion of calcium and increases the risk of osteoporosis. Chocolate is not a food. Chocolate is a toxin. And you're going to notice the high-fat phonies routinely recommend coffee. They recommend chocolate. A whole bunch of nonsense. She says an 8-ounce candy bar, chocolate bar, is allowed to have 120 insect fragments and 2 rodent hairs. Fluoride is rat poison. Fluoride damages collagen. This increases aging and wrinkled skin. It also increases risk of spinal degeneration, I would add. Fluoride disrupts the immune system. It is often added to psychiatric drugs like Prozac. It's also very common in fluoroquinolone antibiotics. It increases traversal of the blood-brain barrier, the blood-testicular barrier, the blood-ovarian barrier. Fluoride makes people stupid, docile, and subservient, less able to resist being dominated, makes them easier to control, makes them easier to accept having their freedoms taken away. It turns them into a bunch of chumps. Gee, does that sound familiar? Children are especially vulnerable to fluoride toxicity from toothpaste and from dental cleanings. Yeah, they're bad. I wouldn't let my kid go for a fluoride dental cleaning, no way. Fluoride makes bones brittle. It increases the risk of hip fractures. It is associated with increased risk of cancer, infertility, and lowered IQ. To avoid fluoride, one should avoid fluoride toothpaste, nonstick cookware, and tap water. Be careful about your meds. Those are just some of the things you can do. I don't even use toothpaste when I brush my teeth. I just want to get the biofilms off. That's what reduces your risk of cavities. Okay, so that's it for part 5 on Dr. Day's book. Hope you found that helpful.